Up third for our news tonight is a show that I think we talked about. Let's get Suicide Squad out there. Is a show that we talked about, I guess about 3-4 years ago. And it was off of What We Do in the Shadows, not What We Saw in the Shadows. That's a different movie. But What We Do in the Shadows. And that show, it was announced, is making its way to the States. Yes, Wellington Paranormal is now coming to the U.S. on the CW, followed by HBOMAX. So this is kind of big news. And Chris, I'm going to pass it off to you first to let us know what are the details behind this New Zealand horror comedy coming our way.
Well, for those of you that have enjoyed, What We Do in the Shadows, it was based on the sort of mockumentary they made of the same name. Well, there's during that movie, you see there's these sort of New Zealand police that come knocking on their door or whatever. Well, this is sort of a spinoff from that. And actually, this was the first TV show in the franchise. This came out before What We Do in the Shadows did. And it's actually already run for 3 seasons in New Zealand. And it was co-created again by Taika Waititi and Jemaine Clement, I think his name is, and who actually directed, I think, he co-wrote a lot of the episodes of this. And he actually directed like the first 3 episodes, I think, of the first season or something. But yeah, and it's basically this sort of paranormal unit of this New Zealand police force. And so, in the same way that you have What We Do in the Shadows, where we get this sort of like venture into all these different areas like witches and werewolves and stuff like that, they do the gamut, and they just like, always investigating all these different, just think of it as like a goofy police version of X-Files, I guess. But they treat it as real. So yeah, and it's going to have that same sort of comedic riffing that you see in What We Do in the Shadows. And so, and I've been excited to see this, and I was kind of sad it's taken so long, because I think it came out like the first season came out in 2018. So now, they bought it, and what's going to do is they're going to release episodes on CW, and after the episode is released, it's going to be released, I think, the next day on HBO Max. So if you have CW or you watch CW, if you have a digital antenna, you can probably watch it. But if you have HBO Max, you'll be able to see it the next day anyhow. So yeah, I'm really excited because I love What We Do in the Shadows. I think it's one of the most hilarious, inventive shows, and so with the same people involved with the creation of this, I think it's going to have that similar sense of humor and some all about more of the Jemaine and Taika universe.
Yes. It stars Karen O'Leary and Mike Minogue, who were the originals from the movie. They're reprising their roles. And yeah, there's all kinds of monsters and creatures. I know very little about this. I remember it coming up in the news, but it, since it never really made its way to the States, I kind of forgot about it. And today, when this news broke, it was the first time I heard about it again, and actually had to come to you, Chris, to find out more. It's like, Chris, tell me more. Vanessa, what about you? Is this something? I know that you're a fan of What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show at the very least. I think you're a fan of the movie as well. Are you game for more of this?
Well, I've actually seen the first couple episodes.
How?
Well, that's a lot of people have had to see it because it hasn't been released over here. But magically, through the Blue Network,
it was a gift. It was a gift. No, and it's really funny. It has that kind of dry wit that they play around with in New Zealand, and it's just these characters are so different from Americans to watch. The way they interpret things, the way they react to things, their colloquialisms, like it just makes it so funny. And to see them discovering and coming to terms with all these things that they're seeing is just, it's very it's so like an homage to classic slapstick too, in a way. So yeah, I am very excited to get to see more of it, and I'm really interested that they're doing it the CW and then going to HBO. I think that's really cool to do something like that and still make it available to so many people to see. So
yes.
yeah, I'm super excited. I love this Shadows universe.
I hope we get more, just more. I can't wait to see it. And there's 3 seasons? So Dave, sir, tonight's we've been throwing a lot of like the non-Dave horror stuff at Dave tonight. Occasionally I'd say out of the batch tonight, the horror comedy is one that's probably more up your alley than the others. I don't know what you think of this. Is this something that Dave will watch?
I actually don't know what I think of it. I'll have to check it out and see. Do we know? Are they going to start? Are we going to start to be able to watch it from season 1, or is just this new season going to be the one that's going to air on CW and then on HBOMAX? Or are we going to get the whole gamut?
I think you get the whole gamut, from what I understand.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
so
me too.
Because it wouldn't make sense
what the hell's going on.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think because it's a whole new thing that other than those people who find bootleg means of finding it. Wink, wink.
What's that, Vanessa? I'm sorry. What's that, Christopher?
Send me screeners, guys.
But I think there's a lot of people who, I mean, for instance, Doc, I mean, a lot of us, I mean, I remember seeing the trailer for it. I didn't even realize there was 3 seasons of it. So even I was like, not, because I don't live in New Zealand, so I don't know what's going on in another country. So yeah, so it's, of course, I also know that there's other shows that come on regular television. I don't know. It's like,
Right.
Charmed has been on for 3 seasons. I think it's one of those things. It's not really, it's kind of out of mind. And so I think they figure, well, these shows have already been produced and made. We'll just give them some money, and then we'll show it here like it's a new thing, and nobody will know. Nobody will know.
Yeah. I like the idea. I mean, it'd be great to see a show like this. Nick Frost had a thing they did on Amazon, didn't they? That was something similar to this. He was like a cop or a.
Oh yeah, they were doing some sort of paranormal stuff.
Yeah, it went nowhere.
Nowhere.
So maybe this one will be better.
It tanked so hard.
It did. It did.
Yeah, so maybe this will do. I mean, the TV version of Shadows has been some of the best TV.
Oh, it's been phenomenal.
Yeah, so that bodes well for this. So
I think so. I think that had a lot to do with it. I would imagine that the popularity. I think it might be kind of a cult following at this point.
I think the only thing might be in the same way that you watch some British televisions. There's some jokes that only British wouldn't understand. There might be some New Zealand humor and stuff that may not translate, but I think the majority of it, I think there is a love for like the horror genre and those supernatural elements. So I think a lot of that stuff will still translate, but I'm sure there'll be a few things that'll be mentioned. Like what is that word?
Yeah. And they have this like silly wholesomeness. They're vampires sucking people's blood, or they're doing whatever, but at the same time, it's just so wholesome in a silly way.
Yeah, they do take a different spin on it,
Yeah.
It's like, even though people are getting killed and
you have to be positive about it, okay?
Are you saying it's Happy Days with vampires? Is that what you're trying to say? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, it's just like Taika Waititi, if he were a serial killer and he talked the way he does, he would still like, oh, he's cute.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm just a rock monster,
Oh, no. All right, well, I hope we don't have an official release date just yet, only that the deal has gone through, so I'm sure we'll know soon. I would imagine sometime in the summer or fall is going to be when we get this. Regardless, we'll talk about it here on H&R because we have been talking about the Shadows, what we do in the Shadows, the U.S. Series, and we have to do it, right? We just have to. And with the crew behind it, it seems kind of like a no-brainer, doesn't it?
It does.
All right. Well, there you go. That's our horror news of the week for this week, recording on March 29th, 2021. Welcome back. We hope you're enjoying this. If you are enjoying it, please let us know. If you want to help us out, you can do things really easily. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button or share with a friend. And that would do us a great bit of help, and we would appreciate it greatly. If you want to get a little bit more involved, hit that like button, dislike button, hit the bell to get reminded. Leave some comments down below. We want to hear from you.
Give us a big bag of likes.
Big bag of likes, and so
All
for two of the new segments, you'll know what we won't know what we're talking about. One you will. All right. We want to thank our patrons, who's without their patronage, we would not be able to continue doing this over at Patreon, Gruesome Magazine, Horror News Radio, Decades of Horror, Heroes and Droids. We cover it all. Thank you. All right. As always, Christopher, Vanessa, Dave, thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you, Doc.
Yay, news is back.
News is back.
Yay, news.
All right, let's say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.